Welcome to Encouragement Conquers All in a divided world, a world where people are against each other, where people are mocking each other for their belief system, where people aren't seeing goodness in someone. They're not helping others become a better family person, a better entrepreneur, a better giver, a better leader, a better friend. We're here to help you be a better friend, to be a better leader, to be somebody who has spiritual strength, that has mental strength, that has a strong family. And you know what? That's what we need. We need strong families. We need strong faith. We need strong hope and encouragement. And today we have a great guest, and we are going to explore his inspiring stories of overcoming many obstacles in his innovative solutions in the entrepreneurial business world. Today we're joined by David Frankel, the founder of Perky LLC, the clothing innovation company, to discuss his journey of creating Perky Collar. Perky Collar. All right. We got to get excited about Perky Collar. He's going to help us understand his revolutionizing way of dress shirts. I think I could use some revolution. I think he might. I mean, this guy, look, I might be surprised how much he's going to help me get better dressed here, because I'm sure our people are on YouTube. And if you haven't subscribed, I know we have a lot of viewers, thousands that view our episodes, but they've never subscribed to YouTube where you can see it live. Go to YouTube and subscribe, or go on, Apple, Spotify, all of the different streams, and set it up and get involved and make sure to listen to every one of the episodes. And don't forget my grandmother. If you haven't listened to my grandmother, I always promote her. She's the most beautiful gift ever. But David is going to help us to be inspired by his perseverance and his determination through the wardrobe dilemma. Now, I might be one of your dilemmas today, David. Come on here. Help me out here, all right? I might be the one giving you a dilemma with my wardrobe malfunction here, all right?
No worries.
So tell me about yourself, David. Tell me about yourself. How'd you get involved with wardrobe? Did you become so passionate about dress shirts and the Perky Collar?
It just kind of happened. I was wearing a lot of dress shirts with blazers and doing a lot of on-location sales when it came to merchant services, as well as online marketing, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, website development. And I just wore a dress shirt every day. And I dry clean my shirts and heavy starch my shirts. And I just got frustrated one day when my shirt, even after being dry cleaned and heavy starched, it kind of looked like this, one up, one down, or I can't remember if it was kind of totally flat like this. And I thought there's got to be a better way. And I can't wear a tie to this meeting. It's way too salesy looking. So I thought, well, why not develop a tool that solves the problem? So that's kind of through trial and error and through prototyping, we finally came up with a tool called the Perky Collar. Literally just lines up underneath the collar to lift it up so it doesn't lay flat. So I'll give you a quick before and after. So this is the tool itself. See that? And this is my shirt. It weighs less than half an ounce, but this is my shirt otherwise. So all you do is lift the collar up. You still want to wear collar stays because that prevents a collar from curling. Try and buy dress shirts that have the collar stays, because then you can upgrade them to stainless steel or brass, which are stronger. And just by adding the Perky Collar, now I'm looking much sharper.
Man, so I have a buddy of mine who plays for the Kansas City Chiefs, Harrison Bucker, and he's really, I don't know if you know who he is,
kicker,
but he's a faith-filled guy, and he actually, he is all, if you love him because he dresses fret. He's got, look him up. I don't know if he's got, I'm going to ask him if he's got the Perky Collar, though. He might not, but he swears by dressing high level. Are you the same? And help people understand why it's important. Jordan Peterson would say this, a lot of the other innovators and leaders. Why is it important to dress nice and to be concerned about that?
I think it's all about looking good and feeling good. I don't think you have to dress to impress anybody. I think you just dress better so you make yourself feel better. And I think post-COVID, everyone kind of got in this casual mode of working from home and sweatpants and T-shirts. And that's fine if you're putting a 6-hour day in, or you're cranking things on the computer, no one sees you, get comfortable. But if you're going to get outside the house and present yourself as an employee of a company, or you're presenting your own company, you should still dress to impress. And We just want to give people tools to help them dress for success without having to go out and buy new shirts every 3 months because they droop and sag and lay flat.
No, I mean, and how well has it gone? Where I'm sure where you're at now is different than where you were at when you started. And how many years have you been doing this?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the patent was issued in 2000. So I have it in here. Let's see, 2019, I believe. Let me check real quick for you so I give you an accurate number. 2021 was when the patent was officially issued. I had the idea in 2015. So because of COVID, it took about 5 years for the patent to be issued. We've now sold over 28,000 Perky Collars. We're in 366 stores across the country. And I have a store here in Charlotte at Carolina Place Mall where we also sell the Perky Collar.
Are you from Charlotte?
I've been here 17 years, originally Cincinnati, Ohio.
Oh, Cincinnati, Ohio. Yeah, we have a center out in Columbus, Ohio. But okay, so tell me, like, what keeps you going? You know, like a lot of people, when you're in the product and service industry, like it probably can be kind of dry at times because yes, you're helping people and do you sell more online or do you sell more in stores? And then how do you keep your drive and enthusiasm?
Yeah, it's a combination. I think anytime you bring a product to market, you need to have as many different avenues for distribution. So when it first came out, I was just doing all direct to consumer. Then I started doing some social media. Then I started getting on Amazon. And then I started doing trade shows in Vegas and New York and Chicago and Atlanta and Minneapolis. And I started getting them into stores because I figured the best way to build a brand and to create awareness is to have foot soldiers all across the country. So that kind of, 5-finger way of getting out there and multiple streams of income definitely helped. Amazon is a global reach. So it's always nice when people that just go on Amazon, don't step in malls, aren't going to find your website easily. It's nice they can find you on Amazon. The tricky part about innovation is no one's really looking for your solution. They're looking for things they already know of. So that's where the innovation side of marketing becomes more challenging because you have to educate them on the problem. Then you have to educate them on the solution. And you have to do a lot of demos and be ready for people to poo-poo your idea. That's stupid. That's dumb. I don't have that problem. It doesn't work. I don't like it. And you have to have tough skin. You have to realize, you know what? It's not for you. And that's okay. And if someone walks by me in the mall and their collar looks like this, and I say I have a great tool for your collar, some are going to care and some aren't. I can't help everyone. I can't help people that don't care. But if someone says, "Oh man, tell me about that. What do you have?" and I show it to them, I demonstrate it on them, I have them look in the mirror and like, "Holy cow, this is amazing." I'll take one because it solves a need. Everything else in the mall is for the most part a want. So I like to address needs. I like to address the collar laying flat. I like to address the collar if it's jumping away on you like this. There's a thing called working stiffs that you can add to the inside of your collar to create a hidden button down. If your collar is curling on you up or under, which I see a lot of people because you're washing it, wearing it, storing it, collars take a lot of abuse. You want to make sure you put stainless steel collar stays in. So part of it has to do with being an educated consumer, making sure the collar is actually the right size, number one. Because if you're a 16-inch neck and you're wearing 17, 18-inch neck collars, there's all this extra fabric and no neck to support it. So your collar's automatically going to lay flat. So I've learned way more than anyone wants to know about collars. I see it on TV. I see it in the movies.
Yeah. I want to know how you stay encouraged. I mean, I'm just being honest with you. I'd be like discouraged, like thinking about collars all day. So like, how do you stay encouraged? I know you have 6 children, so hopefully that's a big encouragement, but how do you stay encouraged in this line of work?
I think it's just a matter of just having tough skin and realizing that if you're going to bring a product to market and make it a success, you can't take it personally. You can't let people offend you, or you can't let a no affect you or make you crawl in a hole and die. It's just you're one step closer to someone that does care, and you keep pitching, and you keep pitching, and you keep pitching, and you just keep your head up because you have a great product, and that people will enjoy it. People will see a resolution to a problem that they've had for years and years and years. And as long as people stop wearing ties and bow ties on a regular basis to work, it's a tool you can wear every day, and it lasts several years. So it's just a matter of trying to find the people that care. And that's what keeps you motivated. When someone comes in and says, "Man, I've had the Perky Collar for 3 years. It is awesome." That's what keeps you motivated. When someone goes on social media and says, "Man, this guy has some great inventions. Go check him out at the mall." That's great motivation. When my kids say, "Dad, I'm very proud of you for bringing a product to market. Less than 3% of products that are patented ever hit the market. I'm proud of you, Dad. You inspired me to invent things." That's a motivation. So you have to just be open to hearing the compliments and hearing the positive feedback and not dwell on the negativity. It's very easy to get into a negative world and people not understanding you or not getting you. Or I remember my uncle, when I showed him a mannequin with the Perky Collar on and Perky Collar off, he said, "I don't get it. I think it's pretty dumb." And then my other uncle said, "What do you mean you don't see it?"
Big Unc said that. Did you go? That's where I need to get the hat. The hat's got to keep you encouraged for sure.
It does. Well, it's also, I have people walking by all the time like, "Man, you're wearing that brim now." So that's, something I just got into a couple of years ago, but it does complement the rest of the look. But again, not everybody gets it.
People in.
Even your family may not get it. Your friends may not get it. And you have to decide, is this worth bringing to market or is it not? Does it solve a big enough problem? And you have to figure out, whose opinion do I care about? Do I care about anybody's opinion? I think as we get older, we stop caring about what everybody thinks and just do what we think is right and have good morals and values and ethics and make sure that the product does what it's supposed to do and stand behind it and make sure you make it properly. It's not even about the price. It's about, does it function? Does it work properly? You're helping people. And the rest, you just got to keep grinding. You got to keep your foot on the pedal and you just got to keep moving forward. And don't let
I hear a noise in the background. Are they making Perky Collars right now? Is that what they're doing?
No, unfortunately, this is our day of the week where housekeepers keep us tidy because I'm too busy.
Okay.
So having the 6 kids.
I was like, man, they got the Perky Collar machine moving right now. I'm like, this is awesome. Now my question is, if you wear the Perky Collar for 2 years, do you get that? Because I'll tell you what. If I worked the Perky Collar for 2 years for you, I want a hat like that.
Yeah, well, the hats are available on our website. Check it out, Perky Collar.
Oh, you look at this.
You can also come to the store.
The website. I didn't see that one coming, Dave.
I bet you didn't.
I really didn't.
No, the Perky Collar is $27.50, but the cool thing about it is that it's a one-time purchase. Also has a cool box, has a magnetic lid, so it's a functional box. You can store other exceptions when you travel: cufflinks, lapels, collar stays, things like that. So it's functional.
I got a question for you. I'm going to move into one of our, we really challenge our guests and our listeners to ask themselves, how do they stay encouraged in such a divided world? You talked about it. People that don't believe in you, maybe don't think it's a great invention or idea. And how do you stay encouraged? And one of the elements that we train and encourage our listeners is on spiritual strength. So how does faith help you stay strong, or does it not at all? Or is that something you focus on? How does your faith in God help you?
No, I think you have to have faith. I mean, obviously having a family and being married and having a business, you have to have a faith in a higher power just to get through some tough days, get through some tough weeks. When you have a loss of a family member, or when you have a loss of anybody that's close to you, friends, family, it's nice to pray for them when they're dealing with sicknesses and challenges and heartache and so on and so forth. And obviously when you're dealing with a business, you have ups and downs, and you pray that a sale comes in, you pray that customers are friendly, you pray that you have another successful day. Honestly, I just pray for another day. Both my parents died young. Neither one of them made it to 60. So I'm grateful to be here. I turned 50 in December. So if I have 10 years left, I want to make the most of those 10 years. And I want my kids to have a spiritual connection as well. And, I think it's important just to be grateful. You don't have to pray and ask for things, but you can be grateful. You can pray and be grateful. Thank you for my health. Thank you for my family. Thank you for my spouse. Thank you for my home. Thank you for my food. I think my connection to God is more about being grateful for things I already have versus saying, God, I want to do $1 million this year. God, I want to sell 10 million Perky Collars. That's outside of his power, nor does he have any interest in doing something like that. But just being thankful for what I already have, being grateful for the customers I already have, praying for the strength I need to get through another day or a challenging day or a challenging situation or a tough revenue situation, or praying for the strength of the vision or the clarity on what to do next. I think every entrepreneur runs in those challenges where they're trying to figure out, okay, well, I've done this for 5 years and 3 years and 7 years. Do I sell it? Do I push myself to another direction? This is uncomfortable. I pray for the strength to get through this uncomfortable feeling. And I think you pray and you have a connection to God in different ways. But I think the most powerful way is to say thank you for what you already have and offer and ask for strength to get to the next level that you're searching for.
Yeah, and so what would you say was the greatest challenge you've ever been through in your life growing up or even now or what have you? Of course, your parents passed, and that's a huge challenge. But any other challenges that you faced that have kind of motivated you and inspired you? Says, yeah, I had this challenge, but you know what? I am grateful because I believe gratefulness comes from you seeing suffering around you and going, man, you know, I just need to be appreciative of where I'm at right now because you know what? There's so much suffering in the world. So, what are your thoughts? What's the greatest challenge you've been through, David?
That's a good question. I mean, I think just bringing a product to market is a giant challenge. And when I decided to leave my corporate job and lose my benefits and lose my weekly pay and so on and so forth, and have to give faith to my family and my wife for hanging in there and believing that I can make a business out of this thing. When they drop 5,000 Perky Collars on my doorstep, it says, okay, go. Now, a lot of people will just keep their full-time job and sell it online or sell on Amazon, and that's just creating a supplemental income. But I chose to make a business out of it. I didn't want to just be the Perky Collar guy. So we ended up creating a clothing innovation company based on all the other inventions we carry as well that solve other clothing related problems. So I think, the biggest challenge was at the point where I said, I'm too passionate, too excited about this invention to work for someone else anymore. It's time for me to pursue my own passion. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. I don't want to take this Perky Collar to my grave. And I want to make sure I leave a legacy behind. My grandfather did a great job in being in commercial real estate and leaving a legacy behind. He's been gone 22 years now and made some incredible real estate investments that my grandmother still lives on. And our family still gets a small, deposit once a quarter. It used to be once a month before COVID. So that's nice. It's a way for us to keep thinking about him and talking about him and honoring him as the decisions he made while he was alive and seeds he planted. And now we get to enjoy the harvest of his hard work. And that's a true legacy. I mean, to work 9 to 5 and once you die, they replace you. There is no legacy there. But if you can work and build something special that you can leave to your children, you can then sell or you can then grow and franchise like I'm doing right now, that truly is something to be proud of. But it all starts with a single challenge. It all starts in those 5,000 Perky Collars, that 5,000 whatever widget, whatever product you started. And when that lands on your doorstep, what do you do next? And do you just say, oh, poor me, I need to come up with the money for the product? Or do you get out there and grind and get the problem solved and you believe in it, embrace it, and make it a reality? Or do you just, say, poor me, and, how am I going to sell this? And I can't do it. And you start making excuses for not getting the results that you need. I think you just say, you know what? I have a lot of people counting on me. Let's get this done. And you're an inspiration to your family. You're an inspiration to people around you, people that follow you on social media, people that follow you on LinkedIn. They're all watching. They may not come up and talk to you every day. They may not call you. They may not text you. But when they do see you, they're going to say, man, your story is incredible. I'm very proud of what you've accomplished. And I'm like, oh, I just did what I felt was right. I did what my family needed me to do. And that's part of being the male head of the household and being the father figure. And the husband is, I got to find a way to make it all work. And there are tough times, without a doubt, when, revenue is down and bills are still there. And, you start to wondering how you're going to make ends meet. And then you reach out to your wife and your children and say, hey, you know what? I hate to ask for this, but can I borrow this or borrow that to get us through this month? I know next month will be better. So it really does take a family contribution to get through the tough times and to ride the peaks and valleys. The peaks and valleys do even out over time. But as you keep pushing yourself, you're always going to have new peaks and valleys because you have new challenges that are additionally difficult. And you have to figure out, do I want to keep it simple and safe or want to keep pushing it? If I keep pushing it, maybe I get to another level, another threshold that can be even a bigger legacy I'll leave behind. And that's the hard part of entrepreneurship is how hard do you push it? How far do you push it? At what point do you settle? At what point are you happy with what you've accomplished? And unfortunately, maybe it's a detriment to me. I'm really never happy. I always want to find, what can I do next? I had a kiosk at a mall for 5.5 years. And at some point I said, you know what? It's too overstocked. There's too much stuff here. My brand is not well represented. It's time for me to move on. And the mall at the same time said, hey, we have a luxury store coming in and we'd like to have you, walk away. So it's kind of a meeting of the minds, like, hey, it's got too much stuff. Hey, we're looking for the kiosk to be moved away. So that was a push that I was uncomfortable with. I had to leave all my inventory, all my customers, and I opened a new store here in Charlotte called Carolina Place Mall. And I've never been happier. My stuff is spread out. My stuff is well lit. It's well organized. And it's a much better representation of the brand. And now the franchisees are much more excited about an inline store than they ever were for a kiosk. But I had to get uncomfortable first. I was happy to stay in the kiosk, making my revenue, looking at my numbers. Things are profitable. But I decided, you know what? I don't want to be 70 still working at a kiosk in a mall. I want to have a storefront. I want to have a better way to represent this brand. I want to be able to attract better quality people by having an inline store that I can attract here to kiosk. So all these things, fell into place when I got uncomfortable, closed up, spent 11 hours of my Easter day unpacking and loading up my stuff to put it all in storage, and really had no plan on April 1st. What was I going to do? I started searching for stores I could open up, and I just kept going back and forth. And I wanted to make sure it wasn't a quick decision, because I wanted to be the right decision. And I finally found a storefront that used to be Things Remembered. It was plug and play, lighting, shelving, everything. And they were vacant April 15th. And I said, this is the prayer I've been looking for. This is the answer to my next step. Again, it's going to take a lot of work. It's a lot of time. It takes some money to get ready for me. I have to buy signs to put up, things I didn't really have the extra funds to do. But you again, reach out to family, friends, and you make it happen. And now we're open. We've been there for 2 weeks, and we're excited about how many years we stayed at this mall and how many more franchises open as a result.
So how do you look at money and financial success? How do you look at that? One of our other ways to design your life is, you're talking about legacy, like, hey, I want to have something that my kids or they can benefit from, or they could be involved with. You see that as legacy. How do people become financially stronger? What you're saying, you're saying, is go out there and take a chance, take a risk, get uncomfortable, and do something you're passionate about, that you believe in. What are some other thoughts on how somebody can become, a lot of people right now with inflation and everything going on, like, they're struggling to be financially secure. So what could you do to motivate someone to build a financial success for themselves?
Yeah, that's a great question. And to clarify the legacy aspect, you're only leaving a legacy behind if money still comes in when you're gone. And that's a profound thought, because most jobs that are 9 to 5, once you leave, your money flow stops. It's either through life insurance, or it's through building something, a business, real estate, something that keeps paying even once you're gone. You have people in place, the business keeps going, and so on and so forth. So how do you motivate people? Well, look in the mirror. Look at what you're doing every day. If you stop working today, would your income stop? If the answer is yes, you need to find some other streams of income. You need to find something else in your life that can contribute to your bottom line, your passive income, your overall income, that doesn't require you to do anything each and every day. And are you taking steps to make that possible? I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight, but you got to get out there and do other things that create that source of income that doesn't rely on you doing anything each and every day. And then ultimately, you got to be willing to put the work in. I mean, it's easy not to work. It's easy to not show up every day. It's easy to not feel like going to work. It's a phrase that my wife and I talk about all the time. She's like, I don't feel like doing this. I don't feel like doing that. I'm like, you know what? When when your back's against the wall and you have the power of broke, there's a lot of things I don't feel like doing. But I have too many people counting on me to just go with my feeling. I have to go with what I need to do, not what I necessarily want to do. And that's a tough place to be. And I think that's what separates entrepreneurs from employees. Not everybody's meant to be an entrepreneur. If you don't feel like going to work and you just want to check in and check out and go do your job and leave and not have to have any additional responsibilities, you're better off being an employee. Every entrepreneur needs employees. So it's not like I'm pro entrepreneur and employees are terrible. We need foot soldiers. We need people in the trenches working on a daily basis. But we also need entrepreneurs that can create jobs for people that can get out there and work. And whether you're an entrepreneur or employee, know your role. If you're an employee, try and find something else that when you stop being an employee, the money still comes in. If you're an entrepreneur, again, build something special that can be sold, that can still create revenue, and build a team of people that can support you and surround you in skill sets you don't have that make your company better. And when I do my podcast called the Perky Collar Radio Show, I think that's the biggest common thread of all my guests is I hired too late. I should have hired sooner. So they all need to find a group of people that support their mission and help them make the business run smoother and work on the business instead of so much in the business. And that's where I struggled at the mall because I was on a kiosk and I did have a hard time finding people. I was working way too much in the business and not necessarily on the business. And within 2 weeks of being at the mall, I've hired 2 people. I have a weekend guy and I have an evening guy. So I've already in 2 weeks done more than I was able to do in 5 years at the mall.
So what's the difference to help someone understand that? What's working in the business? What's working on the business? What's the definition of that?
Sure, we're working in business is you're there every day. You're there, open to close. You're doing all the physical work. You're doing the networking. You're doing the selling. You're doing the marketing. You're doing the social media. That's you daily, open to close, sunrise to sunset, doing something for the business that the business needs you to do. Working on the business is doing things behind the scenes where people are working for you, doing the sales for you, doing the social media for you, building your website for you, building a sales team out there that are multiplying your efforts. You're only one person. You can only reach so many people. You can only talk to so many people as an individual. But when you hire a team, now you're multiplying yourself times 5, times 10, times 50, times 100. And that's when you really start making some real traction.
Yeah. So what's the most important legacy? Is it your financial legacy? Is it your family legacy? Is it your spiritual legacy? How's it going? It's Justin Fatica, and I can tell you I'm so thankful for your encouraging messages and engagement and joining us for our videos that we hope are bringing you encouragement when you need it most. Now, before you go, I want to tell you about some exciting news. Since I was 19 years old, it's my dream to build facilities for kids. Well, that dream is happening. It's a place where young people and their families can relax, socialize, work out, be encouraged, that they can make a difference in somebody's life every day or have their lives be impacted. That's where we need you. We need you to ask yourself if you'd like to help us to break ground. You can be a part of this mission within less than 1 year. But if we don't have help, we can't do this. Now, I know right now there are a lot of people struggling, but we're just looking for pocket change, a rainy day fund, or to connect us with partners who can help make this dream a reality. We want every single kid and every single family to know they're amazing. And it starts with you. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content so we can keep you updated, so you can keep us going. And together, remember, we are making a lasting impact. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for your support, and stay encouraged. And never forget, you were made for an amazing day, and it starts with what lives within you. You're amazing. Is it your, physical legacy? Because each one, these are all how people on our show, they design their life. What order would you put? These, is it philanthropic legacy or social legacy? If you had to pick one, which one would you pick? Say, this is your most important legacy. This is what I live, breathe, and die for.
That's a great question. I think you need to have a balance. But I think, ultimately you do what you can for your family and for God. I think those are your top two. Because if you do things right for God and you're grateful and you're a good person, you have good morals and ethics and values, your kids will learn from that as well. So I think it's God first, wife second, and children third, and then everything else kind of falls into place. I think the financialness comes when you do the right things. I think when you hold yourself to a higher integrity, I think the financial stability comes with it. But I'd
agree with that.
I think you have to keep that order in place, because if it gets out of order, if you put business ahead of your family, you put business ahead of God, then everything else kind of becomes chaotic, and your family never sees you, and you become the dad that was never there. You become the husband that was never there, and that becomes a awkward position to be. Like, I was working for you. Don't you understand? I was working for you, and the kids don't care. They rather have less money. They rather have a smaller house. They rather have a smaller car. They rather have less things and have you there for them on a daily basis. So I think as long as you put God first and you put your spouse and your children second, third, I think everything else kind of falls into place nicely. You don't want to put your business last, obviously, because you got to pay the bills. You got to keep the food on the table, and you got to keep a roof over your head. But I think you know at that point what's needed to be done, and it's easy to just run and hide when things are tough. It's easy to say, I can't do this anymore. Let me just run off and take care of myself, because taking care of the wife and the kids is too much. Taking care of the house payment, especially now with the housing crisis we have a real problem with our housing market. It's way too expensive. We should not be paying $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 for a house payment, because it kills our budget. It kills our flexibility. It kills our ability to take vacations. It kills our ability not to have to work so much. And really, we need affordable housing all across the country. And it's making entrepreneurs like myself and other business owners and other employees working way too hard. And they need that 4-day work week to get into place. We need a balance. We need to have time off. We need to focus on our mental health. And when the bills are so high and inflation is high and all our costs are high, it becomes very stressful. And then it affects our family, and then it affects our spouse, then it affects our mental health, and it just everything gets in a tizzy. So, whoever the powers to be need to understand the importance of keeping things balanced and affordable, so we can have a mental health and we can contribute to society. We can travel, we can spend money on vacation, and we can help push the economy to a stronger economy by buying things and traveling with our family, and doing our part. But things have to get back under control so we can have that nice balance of God, spouse, children, and our work.
Do you think our country gets that God and family, like right now, is priority? Because what I believe is your God. Like people say, oh, God's like, oh, the higher power. For me, I believe God for each person is whatever you think about the most and spend the most time with is your God, whether small g or big G. My big G is God the Father. My big G is Jesus Christ. My big G is the Holy Spirit, right? For me. But a lot of people, like, their gods are money. Their gods are success. Their gods are, control and power and esteem and fame and sports and et cetera, et cetera. Like, my thought, my belief system is we have to get God and family, what you're saying for your own personal life. Like, I personally believe the way to encourage our country is to get everyone to put God first, his love, to put family second, and everything else, like you're saying, comes behind that. Is that where you're at, or are you more like whatever you think is what you think, and whatever you think? Because I get a lot of guests on here. They say, hey, whatever you think, man's great. Hey, whatever you think, man's great. And I'm fine with that if that's what you believe. I'm not here to judge anybody, because I believe encouragement is not judging, it's loving. But I'm not going to tell you I agree with that, because I don't.
No, I think God has to be the spiritual God, the one that kind of overlooks all of our health and safety. I think when you start putting God in other forms like money and sports figures and other icons, I think it's like worshiping idols. And being Jewish, my focus is just on God. And being grateful, blessing my food before eating, and being grateful for another day. And and whatever you believe is what you believe. I'm not here to change your design or what you believe in. You do you. That's kind of my take, but don't impose your beliefs on me. Don't feel like you're better than me because you believe this or you believe that. I think if you put
I'm with you on that 100%.
I think if you put success and money and power as your God, you're never going to be happy, and you're going to die a miserable, boring life. And even once you have some success, it's never enough. You only have some money, it's never enough. Even if you have some cars, it's never enough. You have a nice house, it's never big enough. Fancy enough. So I think you just get in that rat race of physical, materialistic things, and it's just a bad place to be, because you're never going to be satisfied, and you're going to give up everything else that's important to you to get that next level, and you can't take it with you anyway. So what's the point? And who are you doing it for? Is it so your car looks fancy and people are impressed? Who cares? As long as the car runs and it's reliable and dependable. That's the most important thing. And if you have passive income that you can go out and get a little bit nicer car, great. But you know what? As soon as you drive off the lot, it depreciates. So don't even buy a brand new car. Buy one that's 2 or 3 years old. Any business owner that goes out and buys a brand new car, it's just blowing money away. Buy one that's 2 years old, 25, 50,000 miles. It runs perfectly fine. If you want to dump it when it hits 100K, that's on you. But do things that make sense. Do things that are going to truly make an impact. Again, because people are watching. And again, you're not worried about what they think of you. Obviously, you want your spouse to, think highly of you, and your children to think highly of you. But beyond that, and even sometimes you'll do things that they don't agree with, and sometimes you do things that they don't understand. But as long as you know it's the right thing to do, they'll understand. They'll come around at some point. But I think as long as you're in line with the right motivation and the right morals and values, I think everything else falls into place.
Yeah, I agree with you. And two things I have a question. You being Jewish, just so you know, I'm 100% Jewish. I mean that sincerely. Like, I was just telling my son 2 days ago at dinner, I was like, just so you know, like all our founding beliefs have come from the Jews. And you have to understand how to respect the Jewish people and like give them honor and dignity. I give everybody honor and dignity, but in a more of, for me, in a sacred way. I give your faith like just such respect, because look at your journey from, 10,000 years, and more beyond that, of what you've done and what your people have done for the world. I mean, for me, the Jews are like top notch, like respect and dignity for your culture, for your religion, for who you are. With what's going on in the world, like, how does that affect your spirit, and how is, being Jewish, raised Jewish, how does that affect you? Because as you know, with the Jews, what's so beautiful, once a Jew, always a Jew, right? And it's a beautiful, beautiful gift to the world. And I'd just like you to share maybe a little bit about that and what you're experiencing right now.
Sure. No, I think Judaism is the foundation of all religions. So there's nothing that, if you are Jewish, would go against what you believe. Obviously, there's derivatives from Judaism, which I respect. Whatever your religion is, that's the beauty of the United States, is the freedom of religion. And I took a religion class in college because I wanted to learn more. I mean, I went through a private Jewish day school from kindergarten through 8th grade, then went to a public high school. So I could understand the history of my faith and the history of Judaism. But it didn't teach me about other religions. So I felt like I was being thrown into a public school in my high school years and not really understanding what other people believed in. So it was important for me when I got to college to learn about other religions and why they were created and how they were different, and respect them. You don't have to necessarily change my religion and follow it, but you at least can understand when they have their own holidays and their own celebrations. You have at least a little background understanding of why they're celebrating, what they're celebrating, and be respectful. And I think that's what all it comes down to is, respect other people's religions. And, it comes to what's going on right now with Israel and Hamas, and now you have college campuses having all kinds of crazy rallies. It's just lack of education. It's lack of knowledge. And people feel empowered to protest and boycott and so on and so forth. And, you have a right to protest. There's nothing saying you can't, but you just got to keep it peaceful. There's no reason to get that worked up. I use the phrase emotional intelligence because I think it's part of growing up. You learn to just take things and listen and learn, and don't let it upset you. Don't let it fire you up. Don't let it trigger you. So emotional intelligence says, hey, you know what? You may not like the Jewish people. You may not like where I'm from. You may not like the car I drive, but I'm going to take your opinion and let it go. It doesn't bother me. I'm not going to let you upset me. And that's what's happening in these college campuses is allowing people to upset them. They're going and saying what they believe, which is fine, but you can't let it upset you. You can't let it trigger you to a point where you're getting violent, because now you're adding to the problem. You just have to listen and know they have a right to be there. You have a right to be there, and we need to do it peacefully. And there's nothing wrong with that. And college kids are very vulnerable. They're very much open to learning and listening. They don't really have a political affiliation yet. Are they Democrat? Are they Republican? Do they believe in this abortion issue that's going on now? Should it be with the state? Should it be federal? Should it be the woman's choice? Ultimately, these are all decisions that are affecting everyone, and not just religion, but also their bodies and who can tell you what to do with your body. Those are all very challenging things. And actually, when I was in college, I was well known because I had debates about these interesting, controversial topics. Affirmative action was a big issue then. Kimberly Aiken was Miss America at the time, and the Confederate flag was over the Capitol in Columbia, South Carolina. And a lot of people thought that was a negative connotation. That was a negative feeling for them. And coming from the North, coming from the Midwest, I didn't really have a say on it. I learned about the Civil War, and it kind of came and went. Well, when I went to school in South Carolina, they were still talking about the Civil War as it was still going on. I said, guys, it's over.
Yeah.
We're still talking about the Civil War. Why can't we put something up that's meaningful to everybody that doesn't have any negative connotations? But a lot of people came to these debates and said, no, that symbol is heritage. That's my grandparents that died for their cause. So you start to understand, again, emotional intelligence is very powerful. You don't have to agree with them, but at least have an understanding
Correct.
where they're coming from. And that type of emotional intelligence makes the world a much better place to live. And I think it applies.
Yeah, what I call it is a sensitivity to suffering.
Right.
Like, you should really be sensitive to people's suffering and really want to know them, to cry with them, to laugh with them, to encourage them, to walk in their shoes. And I don't know if you know the story of Viktor Frankl. Are you familiar with Viktor Frankl?
I know the name, and he's an author as well.
I was wondering if you're related to him. I was like, maybe this guy's related to him.
No, not Bethany Frankel either.
Yeah, but I mean, his book, He Leadeth Me, and just his connection with the Jews and what he was able to just be a great witness. I just see signs of What I love to do is I love to believe in every single person I meet, even the people that hate me. I've had people, not that many, but I've had a few people really hate me, and I'm sure you've been there, David. And I just love them all the more, because that's what I believe encouragement's all about. It's about, if you can only love those that love you, what's the point? What's the point? Anybody can do that. Hitler did that. You know, uh, you know, Osama bin Laden did that. But guess what? If we can love each other and really want relationship with one another, no matter what, that's what I hope. Our mission in our family is, you know, to be grateful, to love Jesus first and others, no matter what. Like, I'm all about, like, I want to just love everybody no matter what. How can we get that message to this world? Like, I think we have to be a witness of it. And I think you being a great father, I just want to first thank you for that. You bringing that up, you seeing the importance. It's not just about your business. You're doing this for your kids. You're doing this for your wife. You're committed to them no matter how tough it is. I know you might think that's not a big deal, but I just want to tell you something. Over 50% of this nation doesn't have a relationship with their biological father. And that it shouldn't be a big deal. We're doing what we should do. But I just want to encourage you in that. I want to encourage you in your faith. I want to encourage you as a person of respect for others. And how can we get that message to everybody? Because that's what the Encouragement Conquers All podcast is about. Like, wake up. It's not about you. It's about the suffering that's going on and how we can care for one another.
Yeah, I think you just lead by example. And I think podcasts and movies and TV shows and documentaries that can help educate people is really the step. And it's, there's a lot of people in the world, and you have a lot of people that love to hate, and it'll continue to happen, unfortunately, because they don't feel like they belong anywhere else. So they find hatred is their avenue for belonging. And that's unfortunate. That's a lot of what happens in the Middle East. They've just been born and raised to hate another culture, another religion. And some of that battle will never stop. It's been going on for a long time. But all you can really do, you can't stop all the hate. You can't stop all the people that battle each other and are mean to each other. All you can really do is just lead by example and hope other people realize that's the better path in life. That's the more fulfilling part in life. And you hope that they don't impact your life is really all you can do. I mean, ultimately, it gets scary. I mean, it's scary when someone that hates so much can now affect your life, when they go do a school shooting, or they go do get on top of a Las Vegas hotel and just start shooting down a crowd. Why? Because they hate someone, because someone did them wrong, and they feel like this makes it feel better. And it's scary. I mean, obviously, we don't want to all be hermits and just be in our house and locked up and have no social interaction. COVID did that to us, and you saw what happened there. We had to learn how to be nice to each other again. We had to learn to get back in the office together. But at the same time, we're able to have these Zoom tools and StreamYard tools that allow us to connect with people all over the world that was not ready before COVID. That now it becomes part of our everyday life. So now we're able to talk to people all over the world. So if we're misinformed or unknowledgeable about a certain part of the world or a country, we can now talk to them through a Zoom meeting and learn they're people too, and understand them a little bit more. We can hopefully increase our emotional intelligence a little more, because we have the ability to connect with people all across the globe through internet. And obviously, having good Wi-Fi and having computers and technology all across the globe, and the third world nations that don't have that technology, those are the ones that are still going to be left behind, unfortunately. But hopefully there's enough money out there, there's enough businesses out there that see the value in connecting everyone through technology, and we get to nip that in the bud at some point. We stop the hatred. We allow people that were born to hate ever since they were kids log on and be educated and increase their emotional intelligence. And maybe at some point they say, you know what? I don't know why my father hated this group for so long, or my grandfather hated them so long, but the hatred stops now. It stops with me. And you just got to find enough of those people that are motivated through education and knowledge and awareness to stop hating and start loving, like you said, the encouragement aspect of it. But they have to be willing to. You can't make anybody not put on a suicide vest and go blow up an area full of people. That's what they think gets them closer to God, because that's what they follow, and that's what they believe, and that's what they've been told, to some degree brainwashed. And it's hard to stop all of that. But I do think the more we do podcasts and TV shows and movies that are educational, hopefully we start nipping at that ignorance and hopefully we have a better world as a result.
And you're one of those people, David, that I think is desiring to do that because, Deion Sanders says, you can hate me, but you didn't make me, right? As he said, hey, you can hate me, but you didn't make me. He jokes about that. And I say about the Jewish people, you just hate them because they're great. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the way I look at it, honestly. Like, the Jewish people have been given so much hate all these years. And I believe because there's just such greatness that dwells within your culture and who you are and, where your family and all your people, have come from. I just want to just encourage you and let you know that you inspire. I know you this episode. I was uncertain. I thought we were just going to talk about Perky Collars here. Like I'm like Perky Collar, but I'm telling you what, I'm going to go buy a Perky Collar now.
Excellent.
Because you inspired me, and I think I want to encourage you, David. Just continue to, and I'm sure you do this all the time, but continue to share about your family, your faith. Continue to share about the virtues that you're living about because they are so good and so needed. And just what is your hope? Maybe you can share where to get a Perky Collar as well. But what is your hope for your legacy in closing of what you hope people will take away from this episode and then share how they can get a Perky Collar?
Sure. No, I just want to come across as genuine, authentic. I'm building a brand called Perky LLC that I want people to be proud to wear our products, proud to wear things that are unique and different. Step outside your comfort zone. Wear a wooden bow tie. Wear a blingy bow tie. Wear a flashing light up bow tie. But if you're going to a more formal event, you can pick any kind of self-tie bow tie you want. But it's okay to step out of your comfort zone. It's okay to do something that's different. It's okay to put a pocket scroll holder in so it doesn't unfold and fall down. It's okay to wear belts that don't have holes. It's okay to try something new. And that's the motivation is that, when you come into our store at Carolina Place Mall in Charlotte, North Carolina, it's got a wonderful experience. We have jazz music playing. We have a couch you can sit on. We have hats displayed beautifully. We have the inventions on the table. And I'm there just to educate you. I'm not there to sell you anything. I'm just there to help you figure out what I can do to help you make the best decisions for the fashion you're desiring for the event you're going to. Maybe you're going to a funeral and you want to look your part. And you want to make sure you tribute to the person that passed the best you can. There's lots of reasons people come in and shop with us. If you're not in Charlotte and you're not visiting Charlotte, you can definitely find a lot of our products on our website, which is Perky, P-E-R-K-Y, P as in Paul, E as in elephant, R as in Robert, K as in kangaroo, Y as in yo-yo, and then LLC, LarryCharlie.com. We're happy to fill the orders and get them out to you anywhere across the globe. And what legacy I want to leave behind? Again, I just want to leave the legacy of this guy just cared about people. He didn't care if you're purple, white, black, green. He just wanted to help me look my best. He helped me try new things. He helped make sure the hats fit properly. He helped me put colors together. He helped me understand that I have this dress that I'm trying to match, and it's impossible because I'm not making the bow tie from the dress. So I'm trying to find a bow tie that has that color in it or as close as possible. And it's okay if it's not a perfect match. It's not meant to be. There's 100 shades of every color. So I hope I can provide some comfort and some insight to help people shop with us. And look their very best, feel great, because when you look good, you definitely feel good. And when I tried out for Shark Tank back in 2017, that was my son's coined phrase, and I hear it all the time now because it's so true. When you do look good, you do feel pretty good. When you take a shower and dress up nicely, you feel better than when you didn't take a shower and you didn't dress up nicely. If you go to the grocery store, you don't have to dress up. When you go into Walmart, you don't have to dress up. But man, if you walk in the store and say, man, I'm digging the hat, I'm digging the blazer, I'm digging the pocket square, it makes you feel good. Do you have a card on you? When you represent the brand, it's all the time, 24/7. And people just are impressed with your effort to make a positive impression. And just realize people are watching. Whether you want them to watch or not, they're watching. They're watching your social media posts. Tell your kids, be careful what you're posting. Once it's out there, it's forever out there. Watch you post on LinkedIn. That's a professional network. That's your brand. That's your image. That's your reputation. So again, bottom line is everything you do, people are watching, and make sure the kids can be proud of what you're doing, what you're posting, and make sure that you're doing it with good intentions. Keep God first, so that way He's proud of you as well. And ultimately, do the best you can to have a fulfilling day. Love your job, enjoy your job. Don't hate it. Don't dread going to work every day, get out of it. Life's too short to hate what you're doing on a daily basis. Figure out what you're good at. Figure out your superpower. I talk about superpowers a lot because everyone has a superpower, but you got to figure out, you got to do some looking within to figure out what your superpower is and try and make that your livelihood. And if you can, you'll be so much happier because you're giving your customers a gift that they don't have, they can't find elsewhere. And you do it better than anybody else. So find that superpower and light your flame and get out there and get from the top of the rooftops and share your superpower and find the customers that also love your superpower and get them to go on top of rooftops and share. And that's the power of social media, is let people be proud of who you are, what you've built, and give them a platform and a tool to share their love for what you're doing. And again, without a doubt, don't sacrifice integrity. Don't fight people when they try and return things. Give them their money back. Give them a new product. Stand behind your products. Because ultimately, if people are unhappy, they're just going to slam you on social media, and that's going to cost you a lot more money than if you just gave them a new product. Most people aren't going to abuse your company. Just stand behind your products. If it's not a good quality, don't buy it. That's a really important component of our business. And I teach all my salespeople, ask the right questions, be a good listener, and help people. I'm not even worried about what the sales are. The sales will happen as a byproduct because you did a good job. They were able to give you the information about what they're looking for, and you just help solve the problem. If you don't, they got to go somewhere else and go over the same information again. So solve their problem. Don't sell them something, and help them and be a good listener. Being a good listener goes a long, long way.
Well, David Frankel, he's encouraging us today. He's encouraged us, of course, PerkyLLC.com. Check it out. But he's encouraged us more so to be a person of virtue, to be a person to use your superpower, whatever that is, to use that to encourage others. We were encouraged today. We were encouraged in so many ways. But most important, we were encouraged to love no matter what. Yeah, you might be atheist, you might be agnostic or Hindu or Jew, you might be Muslim or Christian or Catholic, even you. But we are all children of God, and that's what I believe. I don't know what nightmare you've been through, and I'm not here to judge the things you may do. I'm just here to give you the greatest news, that God loves you no matter what. He believes in you no matter what. And David's saying, you know what? It won't hurt. It won't hurt to look good because you'll feel good. Have a great day. I hope to see you every week. Go on YouTube, make sure to subscribe and get on the Apple, and Spotify. Please check it out. I mean, we have so many episodes, right? We're growing. We got our new docuseries coming out. Wait till you see this. 6 episodes of coaching, coaching kids who are changing their lives. A kid that was homeless and now he's playing college basketball. There's so much going on. Don't miss out. And don't miss out on what David Frankel's got going on, because you know what? It is good. It is good to be a dad, to be a husband, and to be a great leader with character. Thank you, David, for coming on.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm going to leave you a quick phrase. It's a Hebrew phrase called Gimilut Chasadim. It basically means give to others and expect nothing to return. What did you do today that was helpful to someone else without expecting anything in return? And the more you do that on a daily basis, the more the positive comes your way. The fruit of your efforts are always rewarded without expecting anything in return. Just do good, and lots of good comes your way.
Well, I hope good comes your way because you shared a lot today. So I hope good comes your way because you shared a lot of goodness with us. Love you, David. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jess. I appreciate being on the show.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of the Encouragement Conquers All podcast with Justin Fatica. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share this episode with someone who needs a little encouragement. For more uplifting content, follow us on our social media pages. See you in the next episode.